So, according to the Rich Eisen show today, well, we're going to go ahead and react to it. But apparently, we are troublemakers. Well, according to RG3, who goes on the Rich Eisen show to talk about the reason why there's problem between Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen. Now, based on what we have heard lately, a couple different things are the reason why. Number one, Diggs wants his input on the play calls. So if they're going out in a game-winning drive, he does not want it to be Josh Allen calling the plays. No. Diggs is going to go in that huddle and say, Allen, what we calling? No, I don't like that play. How would we call this play, Allen? How would we call this play? Wait, why are you moving me over here? Don't move me over here. No, Gabe Davis, you come over here. Don't listen to Josh Allen. Listen to me. Wide receivers. What is this life? And then number two is that apparently, and I was actually incorrect here, I'll stand corrected here. According to sources, again, this might be incorrect, but this is what we are hearing, is that he restructured his contract to get extra money so that they could bring in DeAndre Hopkins. And I thought at first he didn't want DeAndre. He apparently wanted DeAndre very badly. And because Buffalo didn't get him, he's actually ticked off. And there might be some beef saying like, hey, listen, we didn't get DeAndre, Josh, because of you. And now we have problems. So, with all that being said, just give you guys a snippet of what's going on. I have to put this up to block it because Rich Eisen show will take down my video if I don't. And Chiefs fans, listen, you're going to get offended by me just saying your name. So I'm not going to change anything. This is just a picture I have. Chiefs fans, get over it.
Last week, and what happened with Stefon Diggs last week, and how do you think that might have a ripple effect once the toe meets ball in the actual playing season, Robert?
Ooh, well, I mean, when you talk about when toe meets ball, I think the Bills need a happy Stefon Diggs to win the Super Bowl. And if you notice, I didn't say motivated because I think he's always motivated. I think he's always working his tail off to be the best. But when you have a happy Stefon Diggs, I mean, since he got to Buffalo, he's tied for first in catches with Devontae Adams. He's sixth in receiving touchdowns, and he's fourth in the league in receiving yards. So that's a happy Stefon Diggs. Him and Josh Allen seemed to have a bromance rolling,
right.
It felt like, for years there until there was the problem with their game against the Bengals in the playoffs. So I think it's clear this is a personal thing between Josh and Diggs, and they have to get their partnership back on the field, and that's part of playing quarterback. I think
everything was good. And you know what, honestly, if I'm being honest here, you go back before that playoff game versus when we played him, right? There wasn't really much talk about Diggs having problems. Really wasn't at the end of the day. I mean, you saw it to a point where it was almost to a point where they got violent with one another on the sideline. The Bills sideline for Diggs and Allen, especially when he kept getting locked up by Eli Apple and Cam Taylor-Britt in that playoff game. He literally, Diggs was getting violent. Well, not, I would say violent, emotionally violent, not like physically violent, but emotionally violent on the sideline toward Allen during that whole entire game. And it was honestly the first time I even looked into the drama between Allen and Diggs. And it didn't seem like there was much before that. And then after that game, then though on Twitter, Diggs has that shot where he's standing looking at Buffalo Stadium, where he's ticked off, he's pissed off that they lost yet again. They want to go win the game. They can't go win. Cincinnati takes away their chances. Probably the best chances to go to the Super Bowl, which was last season because Patrick Mahomes was hobbled. And you got to think, if the Bills are fully healthy and Mahomes is hobbled, the Bills might have beat the Chiefs. I hate to say that, Chiefs fans. I know that's so freaking crazy to say, right? It's almost like someone could beat you. 3-1. Anyway, though, the Bills might have beat the Chiefs. So, if you're looking in, Diggs' head, Diggs is like, listen, if we beat the Bengals, we're going to the Super Bowl. And they could have beat the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I understand the animosity and, the problems here, right? And then again, after the game on Twitter, Stefon's going off. Eli Apple did not help anything. I mean, Eli Apple was starting freaking forest fires at that point with him on Twitter, Stefon Diggs. But it's just more and more turmoil. And, every relationship, I feel like, in life has a breaking point, right? There's some point where you're like, all right, listen, enough is enough. I'm not going to sit here and take this. Now, obviously, different relationships have different story arcs. This story arc is, after losing to the Bengals, it seemed like that was Stefon saying, you know what, listen, I'll restructure my contract, bring in DeAndre Hopkins. I want to call the plays. I don't want him calling plays. And it was just like, it was him. I feel like that Bengals game broke everything, and now Diggs wants control. And he's a wide receiver. I'm sorry.
I think Josh Allen's running into that right now. Everything is fine until it's not fine in a relationship when it comes to a quarterback and a wide receiver like Diggs. So Josh has to manage that relationship the right way, and I think he's the only one that can rectify it.
So what is it, though? I mean, what did you see in that game? What are you hearing? What are you potentially willing to share? What is it, do you think?
Yeah, Rich, that's why you're a great interviewer, man. You know when people have information and they're trying not to say anything. So I've talked with people close to the situation, and really what it boils down to is in that last game against the Bengals, Diggs was the most targeted receiver in that game. I think he had 10 targets in that game. But when they were down 17, they had a 10-play drive that ended in a turnover on downs, and Diggs only got one ball thrown his way. So you would think that a player of Diggs' caliber with the relationship that he has with Josh Allen, in those moments he would look to him more often, and that didn't happen. I think that was something that why we saw Diggs hold his hands up, looking at Josh Allen on the sideline when they had the little tiff that was shown on TV. And Diggs wants to win like every other player wants to win.
But at some point, if the Bengals defense is playing lockdown defense, the snow is obviously slowing down the game, making it harder to get open, making it harder to make plays. I mean, obviously Isaiah McKenzie himself came out and said that's the reason why we won the game, right? Because it wasn't better, it's just because of snow. If that's the case, how are you going to target someone who isn't open? I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, you can't throw the ball into double coverage when someone is not open. Like, I get the point of Diggs being ticked off, saying, listen, at the end of the day, I didn't get the football. I should have gotten the football in this situation. It's the same situation with Baltimore with J.K. Dobbins. When he fumbled the ball for 6 and the Ravens lost to the Bengals, he came out and said, well, they lost that game. Well, he said we lost that game because he's a Raven. He said we lost that game because I didn't get the football. If I got the football, we would have won that game. Okay, well, congratulations. Okay, what if J.K. would have ran that ball instead of Tyler Huntley? It would have been a fumble for 6. But what if he got stopped 2 plays and it went for 4th and goal because of analytics and they didn't get it? What if Diggs gets targeted on that one drive they're talking about and Allen throws a pick to Eli Apple because guess what? He wasn't open. Like, I understand you want to be the spotlight. You want to be the guy who saves the game. But at the end of the day, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. If you are open, I promise you, Josh would have targeted you. Josh would have gave you the football. But no one was open on that defense. I mean, that Bengals defense used that snow like kryptonite to that Bills offense. And them already being a good secondary and really good defensive unit, it did not help this Bills offense in any way possible.
I think that if they can rekindle that bromance, Josh Allen's got to do something to relight that fire between the two of them. And I think that's will be the key for the Bills to be successful this year, especially since they have Super Bowl aspirations.
Well, let's chop this up a little bit, Robert Griffin III, because the issue, I think, for that Bills offense, and I think I'm not reinventing the wheel here, was Josh Allen trying to do too much, feeling that he had to do too much. The red zone being a particularly difficult spot for that team because of it. And to me, I think they've fixed it in a way, or at least they've hit it enough by getting Damian Harris at the running back position, by bringing in Latavius Murray at the running back position, by also getting Dalton Kincaid in the draft. The question is, though, if those are the answers, how will that rest with Diggs if he's not the one getting the football in those situations? Robert, that's the rub. here,
Yeah,
potentially.
Rich, I don't disagree as far as with Josh Allen constantly having to put the cape on. I talked about this a lot last year. They're constantly asking him to be Superman, and he can do it. And then, quite honestly, as the year went on, I realized that Josh Allen actually plays his best when he's trying to be Superman every single play. That's when he's the most comfortable. That's when you see all the creative runs and the big-time passes from him. But I think the Bills took a concerted effort this offseason to say, we got to be able to play bruising football up front if we need to. And then the draft pick of Dalton Kincaid gives them position variability on offense. So they don't always have to line up with 3 wide or 4 wide. They can go 2 wide and 2 tight ends, or they can put them in the backfield and run some sets like that. I think they are taking a conscious effort to say, all right, if it becomes a bad weather game again and we can't throw the football around, we got to be able to run the ball. We got to be able to utilize our tight ends down the seams. And I think that's what they did. But the bottom line, Rich, is without Stefon Diggs, their receiver room goes from, arguably one of the top 5, top 10 receiver rooms in the league to not even in the top 15. So they need Stefon Diggs to be that.
Just to allude to his point before he continues here, that has been my preaching argument for so long with the Bills, and why I don't think they're ever going to win a Super Bowl. And Buffalo, I know you're going to hate me for saying that, but it's because of the fact that you are not diverse on your offense. You are one-dimensional. And I don't care the fact that Josh Allen ran the ball for 500 yards this year or last year, whatever year. I don't care about that. That does not make you two-dimensional in any way. Because no defense has to respect Josh Allen taking off running. Yes, it's annoying when he takes off running, as annoying as my nose is right now for some reason. But it's not like when he takes off running, I sit there and I'm like, oh, this is scary. Lamar Jackson, when he takes off running, you're like, okay, get him down. Please get him down. When Josh takes off running, he's more or less is like a bowling ball. Right? Eventually he's going to stop. But he's not going to stiff arm you. He's not going to truck you. He's not going to do anything crazy. He's going to get a couple yards and get down. And in the red zone, he's going to get touchdowns. But that's not a consistent run game. When you play Josh Allen and you play Derrick Henry, there's completely different units. And if Buffalo, even in that playoff game, how did Cincy do so good in that playoff game? Joe Mixon ran the ball like crazy. They had a consistent passing game and a rushing game. So they were able to do a mix of both. That kept the Bills' defense honest. They couldn't overcommit to one thing. They couldn't overcommit to another thing. What happens? It's impossible to stop. You can never stop a team that's running the ball and passing the ball very effectively. You can never stop that. Because at the end of the day, what are you committing to? But when you're going against the Bills, and I've said this many times over the years, that you're committing to the pass. Yes, you're getting a quarterback spy out there to watch Allen. That's it. Because you're not scared of Damian Harris. You're not scared of, they had that Cook, James Cook. You're not scared of, at the time they have, right now actually they have, Nakeem Hines. You're not scared of those guys. Right? When you go against Titans, you're scared of Derrick Henry. When you go against even the Steelers, Najee Harris. When you go against all these teams, and I feel like they're the only team in the NFL, truly, the Browns have Nick Chubb, that you're looking at and you're going, wait, if we stop the pass, are they just going to run the ball 70 plays in a row with Josh Allen? And that is, again, I know they said to the point of, they're asking him to be Superman. They are to a certain degree, but I feel like, as RG3 alluded to, it really does come down to Allen. Allen wants that. That's what Allen likes to do. He likes to know when the game's on the line, he's the one in control, which is no problem because now Diggs wants control. But that's a whole separate entity itself. But the point is that, you cannot run an offense like that. You cannot. Even the Ravens with, Lamar Jackson, they still run the ball with Gus, J.K., Latavius Murray, Kenyon Drake, Freeman. This is going back to last year and the year before that. But they're still running the ball with multiple running backs. It is not just every play Lamar Jackson runs or throws it. Because no one's scared of that. You're not keeping the defense honest. You're not keeping the defense on the toes. The defense sit back saying, listen, it's snowy. These receivers aren't getting open. Josh, you want to beat us? Run. And guess what? Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson, they're going to put you on your butt if you run. So it's just not a scheme that can work. Even the Chiefs, who have Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, a crazy offense, they learned last year with Isaiah Pacheco that running the ball is their best friend.
That guy for them, and he'll always get his targets because his desire to win and his ability is aligned with their ability to be explosive on offense. So I think that aligns perfectly. So he'll get his targets regardless. It's just about fixing this little personal situation that's going on between him and Josh Allen.
And then in one last one for you on that. Can't the answer be, hey, Stefon, stuff happens. We had the drive that we had, and just, I'll look for you more. I promise I'll look for you more. You know me, I know you. We're tight like that. Can that actually fix it, or it only fixes it to the point where the first Monday night when you and the rest of the worldwide leader will have the huge game of Allen and the Bills at Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in his Rodgers debut at the Jets, that this could just come home to roost in drive 6 that night and bring it all up again, Robert?
Yeah, I think the sooner they can get back on the field and playing football games that actually count, like you're saying, on that Monday night, I think the better it is for everybody. Here's the bottom line. Stefon Diggs does get targeted by Josh Allen.
I want to allude to that one point actually real fast. This is what we call a recipe for disaster, right? So what ends up happening here now is to what Rich Eisen just alluded to, right? Is that he said that, well, can't he just say, like, hey, man, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to do better next time. What that alludes to now is that Allen now has to force the ball to Diggs. He has to throw him passes when he's not open. And he has to force balls to him when he's double covered. Because he's doing better. Because he's fixing his wrongdoings. Instead of him saying, listen, Diggs, I'm going to throw you the ball when you're open. I'm going to look at you and try to make sure I can get you the football. But at the end of the day, if you're not open, man, I'm sorry, but you're not getting the football. Instead, if he did what Eisen said, now it's because if he doesn't, like, he has to force the football. If he doesn't force the football to him, then Diggs goes, you told me you were going to change. You never did. You never changed. You told me you were going to give me the football more. If they go a whole game, week 1, and Sauce Gardner completely locks down Diggs, and he's never open, and Josh Allen never throws him the football, to Rich Eisen's point where you just said, Diggs is going to look at Josh like, you told me you were going to throw me the football. You didn't throw me at all tonight. You throw me 0 targets tonight. What is that? You got to throw me the football. That's not going to fix the situation. Because what you're doing is a metaphor in life called to cut your nose off to spite your face. You're trying to fix it and patch it, and you're going to cause more problems down the line. It's not going to work. Now, the rest of this video is like 30 seconds left. You don't really talk about anything good. But, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I just wanted to rant today, talk about this. I thought it was interesting. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.